Mike, I won't take credit for this. I saw the headline, but I've got to repeat it. St. Louis lost its man. Baltimore lost its Earl. Within hours of each other, really. You look at when this happened. Baseball had 2 big losses over the week. For younger fans of the game, you might not appreciate these 2 guys. One of them, and I'll let you talk a little bit more about Stan the Man in a second, was just a phenomenal baseball player. And Earl Weaver, I got to see and witness some of that, and you will have some stories from that as well. His mind and the way he went about the game. We just did a segment, another video with football, talking about changing the trends and different. Just throw out the old stuff, conventional. Earl Weaver was not a conventional guy. He just did things his way.
He really wasn't. He came along in the '60s when baseball was very pitcher dominated, and it was very much about you get a guy on base, you bunt him over, and to him. He just looked at the game and said, I don't care what the book says, and I don't care what the conventional wisdom is, and I don't care what people say I'm supposed to do. I'm going to sort of build this team so that I can operate this machine, and I'm going to throw out what doesn't work and use the heck out of what does work. A guy who just wanted to win so bad that he just forced himself, I feel like, to just think about the game in totally practical terms. This works, this doesn't. This is what I'm not going to do. This is what I am going to do.
A couple quick thoughts with Earl from me. One, I got to interview him years ago at Park City. He was there for one of those Bob Sports card signings. Gone between the doorways at Park City, he's smoking a cigarette. He was so graceful to give me the interview. It was around the time where Cal was breaking the playing streak when this happened in the mid-'90s. I was just grateful for the interview because Bob Gibson was there and refused me 3 times, and the third time looking down and saying, I said no. So when little man Earl, who suffered a little bit of short man syndrome, I looked down at him and said, can I do the interview? And, okay. But Earl Weaver, I remember from Monday Night Baseball as well. Howard Cosell with Howard and Palmer. Jim Palmer in there talking. Al Michaels a little bit in there. But Palmer and Earl Weaver fighting it out sometimes.
Actually went on the banquet circuit like an act for a while, and one time, supposedly, Palmer dug a little too deep, and they ended up slugging it out on the dais of this banquet somewhere in America. One thing I want to say about Earl Weaver is consistency. Only had 1 losing season, and that was after he left for a while and came back, and it really wasn't his team. All but one of his teams, other than that year, all but one of his teams played .560 or better baseball. Think about that. That's incredible. That's incredible.
It is incredible. Unconventional. Cal Ripken was a big guy. Should have been a third baseman. Cal was a third baseman.
That's a very good example.
He shortstop. And who would have thunk it? But now look in baseball, Alex Rodriguez, some of these bigger shortstop that came along because of Earl Weaver moved. And the expression, he played for the 3-run homer. Yeah. And he had the Eddie Murrays and so forth. But as much as baseball, when he got in there and he developed a great system, he always had great pitching, too.
He did.
Going through the names.
He did, and part of that was the way he handled the pitching staff. I mean, he believed in finding your best 4 pitchers and giving them as many innings as possible. It wasn't a lot of this micromanaging bullpen stuff.
Now, and as much as the Orioles beat the Phillies in '83, and Earl Weaver was not the manager for that team. Those were his players.
Yeah.
And his pitching staff
absolutely
did it.
No question.
So, but Stan the Man, St. Louis lost a huge icon. Your thoughts with him?
Hit 316 years in a row, and wow. did it with power. I think he might be the best baseball player who was ever born in Pennsylvania. That's something to think about. He might be the best baseball player who played his entire career in the National League. Interesting. Yeah. He might be the best baseball player in the history of the St. Louis Cardinals. Probably is, although Albert Pujols is certainly a first ballot Hall of Fame guy. And according to everybody, one of the nicest men in the world. No, you can't find anybody who will say anything other than praise for Stan Musial, who lived to be 92, and it was you could only describe it as a great American life.